welcome back to the Reinvention Channel. I'm your host, Vidette Vanderweide, and I'm bringing you another exciting guest as I think that I always do. And this guest is a wonderful woman. I've just had the pleasure of getting to know a little bit better in the last few weeks, and I'm excited for you to hear her story. This is Caterina Barregar, and she is your Love Spark coach. Are you an amazing, professional, powerful woman who just can't seem to find the love relationship you're looking for? Are you lost in love because of a recent breakup? Can you honestly say you love yourself? That's a really good question. Is your career not fulfilling you and you're not sure of what to do next? Are you an empty nester who is trying to figure out who you are and what your new purpose is? If any of these questions resonate with you and you are a successful woman who wants more and just can't quite put your finger on what is missing, Caterina is your girl. She utilizes well-proven coaching processes, meditation, visualization, and Reiki in working with clients. She assists her clients in clarifying their greatest gifts and abilities, creates an action plan, which is so important, so her clients can finally live the life they've always imagined. One filled with passion, purpose, and joy. And she can be found at imaginelifecoaching.ca. So, Caterina, welcome to the Reinvention Channel, and thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you for introducing me that way. That's awesome.
I know. So, tell me a little bit about your journey to becoming the Love Spark Coach. Sorry about that. The Love Spark Coach. Tell me a little bit about your journey.
Well, it all started, I became a Reiki master several years ago, and I've always done coaching and counseling of some sort or another within my Reiki practice. And then I made a decision to come out to Vancouver, and I decided to become a Reiki master out here. So this is the funny part of this story, is that the guy who was building my business cards put down Reiki master and life coach. And I didn't know what a life coach was at the time. I had never heard of it. I had no clue. And so I thought, I better look into what that is. And then I found out there was massive education to go along with it. And so I took the education. And then as I was coaching some of my clients, I realized, many, actually probably 98% of the clients that I have don't love themselves enough. They don't feel worthy. Yeah. They don't celebrate themselves enough. And yet they're looking for somebody to come into their lives and they have this perfect picture of who they want, but they're not quite the same kind of person as what they're trying to attract. So I'm helping them to do that.
Well, a couple of things that you talked about already, and we'll just talk about the life coach being on that business card. And one of the things that I teach is all about how the universe sends you messages in random places throughout our days. How random, but the universe is like, hello, you're supposed to be a life coach, so it's going to be on your business card. That's a pretty significant mistake, but significant in the form that it really shaped your direction.
Right, and I am very much about the universe, the law of attraction, the secret, and I use it daily in my own life as well as in my clients' life.
Yeah. The other thing, too, that I think is interesting you brought up is worthiness. And I take a class on Universal Principles every Tuesday, and that was just the subject we talked about this past Tuesday was all about worthiness. And are you feeling worthy of whatever it is your goal is? And for you, working with clients who are looking for relationships and healthy relationships, they're only going to attract the kind of people that are at their same level of vibration, basically. So how tell me, because I wonder if many people understand that they're not feeling worthy. How do you identify if you are sitting here watching this interview, if you are one that is really sabotaging yourself because you're feeling unworthy, but you can't really identify that?
I think part of the worthiness issue is around, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm not good enough for this, nobody will like me because of this. And a lot of it has to do with your story, your history, and your circumstances. And what I want everybody to be able to get at some point in their lives is you are not your story or your circumstances or your history. You are so much more than that. And that's my job, is to help you to understand that and remember who you came into the world as.
Love that. And yes, I love all of that. And you use techniques like meditation and visualization, which have transformed my own personal life, so I know the power of them. And you use those kind of techniques as well as your expertise as a life coach to help people move through those stories.
That's exactly right. And to go from the old story, which is their safe place, and no matter how abusive that story was or how uncomfortable that story is, I help people to find a new safe place where they can live that life that they're dreaming of. Mm-hmm. It takes a little bit of time, but once you move from that old safe place, which it can be a really not a good place, mm-hmm. but it's your safe place because it's your story, and make a new story, write a new book mm-hmm. of your story.
Yes. It's so beautiful. And it does take time. It's a process to go from that old story to a brand new story of what you visualize. But for me, what I found is it's been like a daily progression. So every day I see, and it might be a small difference, but I see a small difference in myself as I continually progress in my own evolution as a person. So although it takes time to go from, right now here to there, you can still see differences every single day in that process. So that's what's so rewarding, I think. And I have to say that for me, my own huge growth came when I started working with life coaches who were able to help me identify the story. Because like you said, we get so used to our stories and what's keeping us from doing the very things we want to do. And we're like, oh, we don't have time, or I have the kids, or not enough money, or whatever that is, or I was abused as a child. But it really took a life coach to help me identify those and say, what is that? That's not the truth. And I thought, oh, okay, I guess it's not. And it helped me realize a lot of things that I didn't even know I was doing. You don't know what you don't know. So it takes life coaches like yourself to help pull that out of us. What was your background prior to becoming the Reiki master and the life coach?
I worked for the Board of Education in Calgary for many years, mm-hmm. and I was in a workplace that I loved the people that I worked with, but I didn't enjoy my job. And mm-hmm. It wasn't me. I mean, it was all about computers. It was all about teaching administrators how to use computers and use software programs, and it really wasn't me. I needed to do way more than that mm-hmm. with my life because I'm such a compassionate person, and I mm-hmm. care so much for people. So computers, they're kind of not people.
Not people. They don't smile back at you. So I'm still waiting for this computer. This computer is the one that launched my business, and I'm still like, can you please give me a little love? I've been looking at you for thousands of hours now. So how did you make the transition from what you were doing to deciding to go? Now, had you always been kind of had the spiritual background? Were you meditating and visualizing and doing all of that stuff then?
Okay, so my journey as a healer began when I was about 8 years old, and I was given a gift of intuition.
Yes.
And medical intuition. And as I grew, I kind of tried to step away from that. When I became a Reiki master several years ago, my practice in Calgary was getting to be quite big. And I just felt this pull to the ocean, to be by the water. I don't know what it was, but mm-hmm. I absolutely needed to do that. I needed to make changes in my life. Yeah. And I really wanted to step away. I was also very ill for a time. I had lung cancer, and I overcame that almost 13 years ago now.
Wow.
So 5.
Nice.
Yes. And so, I live every day now being grateful for where I am, for what I've been able to achieve, and I want to get that message out there that mm-hmm. life is short and you need to just do it.
Yes.
Have a great life.
And don't wait for something. For me, for you it was lung cancer. For me, it was walking in on my husband with another woman. Like that really kind of got my attention. But I don't want to also gloss over, you got the pull to be near the ocean. You felt that intuitive feeling, or, you heard it, however it comes to you. What was it like to make did you move? Did you move somewhere that?
I was living in Calgary, Alberta, mm-hmm. and I moved. I sold my house within 36 hours, and I moved within, I think it was a month. And I packed up my van. My girlfriend and I came out here, and I gave her an airline ticket to go back home. And I moved in with my parents for a period of time, and now here I am, loving life. And
that's amazing. But I think in most people's lives, to feel that desire, the stories would come in as to why they couldn't move. I have a practice
Right.
So,
I was just going to say,
yeah.
I lived in Calgary for 40 years. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of friends in Calgary. My children still live in Calgary. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't sure how I was going to create a life where I could still spend time with my friends and my children and living in Vancouver. I'm not sure that geographically this is my place yet, but it's a start. It's better. Yes. Oh, what I do now is I manifested being able to go and see my children every 3 weeks because I do business in Calgary now. Who knew that I was going to be doing that? Nobody knew that.
I got the chills. Two things that are so pivotal in what you just said was, one, you recognize that Vancouver may not be the place, but you took the step to at least follow your intuition and being near the water. The second one is, because you took that step, the universe supported you in giving you a reason to have to go back to Calgary. So it's like, and I love that story. And it's great because we didn't talk about anything that we're talking about right now previous, so I'm not telling you anything to say. But the lesson here for our viewers is so perfect because when you take a step, it may not be the right step yet, but it's getting you in that direction, and you're going to be supported in that. That's such a beautiful lesson that you shared. Thank you.
Well, I'd love to share a little bit more of that, if that's okay. I have a client, one of my first life coaching clients that I've ever had. I've had him for probably almost 2 years now. I met him at an airport by accident one day, and there's quite a story that's going to be in my book around that. He was a scientist who was extremely unhappy in his job. They were competing for the Nobel Prize.
Whoa.
He had been abused, tortured, all those kinds of things. Wow. And I met him, and he asked me to help him.
Whoa.
And I said, yes, I will help you. And we've gone from this place of having that story and being so stuck in that story to not only quitting his job as a scientist, but now moving to another place where his dream is, his dream life was, also by the water, and pursuing his dream of music. This person was so stuck, so paralyzed in his story. So when you have a life coach in your corner, you have an amazing gift to be able to move your life forward. You're moving away from what you don't want and moving towards what you do want. But the one thing I do want to caution you of is you need to be ready to make the changes.
Yeah.
That is paramount. If you are not ready, nothing's going to change. And if you make even the tiniest baby step, that's when things are going to happen.
Yes.
Even the tiniest baby step.
I love it. I want to come back to the baby step, but I also want to go back to how do you get ready when you say, you have to be ready to start making some changes. Talk about how you work with clients to get them ready, or how they can identify when and if they're ready.
I think that when a client comes to me in the first place, it depends on how much trust they have. The trust level is really important. Yeah. When the client comes to me, we build trust, first of all. So that can take a little while. Some people it takes a week. Some people it takes a couple of months or 6 months. It just depends. But in the meantime, I'm taking them step by step, slower and slower, or faster and faster towards what it is they want. And then as they build that trust, that's when they open up and they realize when they come to me in the first place, they're already ready. They just don't know it yet.
Yes.
And when they come to me, I let them go through all the motions. I let them go through, I can't do this. You know what? I shouldn't do that. I'm not ready for that. I don't think I can do this. And then I listen to them. We deal with it with processes and whatever it is we need to do. And then the next time they come in, they go, okay, maybe I can do this. And then the next time I'm seeing something, wherever they're posting or if they're emailing me, I do accountability stuff with them. Yeah. All of a sudden, I see positivity glimmering through. And then all of a sudden, I see it all wide open. Yeah. It is beyond.
Yes, to all of that. I love that. And I think a few minutes ago you talked about baby steps. And I think sometimes there's a misconception that reinventing or changing your life is, packing up, selling your house in 36 hours and moving. You were ready to do that. But for most people, it's going to be when they're just getting started in their journey, they're going to have to take a baby step, which might be researching something online, reaching out to someone who's already done it and making a phone call, asking them, how did you do this? So the total significance and the life changer for me was when I found out that I don't have to jump off the cliff. You know, I simply take one step towards the end of the cliff, so to speak.
I'm a big jumper, and for most of my clients, it's really interesting when you have worthiness issues, and I bet you any money that some of your viewers will identify with this. Mm-hmm. When you have worthiness issues, look around your bedroom. I bet you any money, 99% of my clients have a messy room. Mm-hmm. 99% of my clients, once they clean up that room or once they clean up their office, their mind becomes cleaner. Their mind is able to process better. And they look around them and they go, okay, I can do this. Yeah. Those are baby steps that I'm talking about. Get that office cleaned up. You know, take those kinds of babies.
Yeah, and I love that you shared that. I think I did a blog post about that a while ago, just your environment. You know, what does your environment look like? What does your home look like? And you know, just think of the release of energy one would, you know, feels when they go through their closet, or they, you know, go through a junk drawer, you know, and that's a spiritual practice that I have learned is, you know, when I start to freak out and start to get that anxiety, I go look for something I can clean, and it might just be a shelf on a bookshelf, but it's something, because it does clear you. So, you know, I think sometimes I've had clients that I've worked with that have laughed at that and said, oh, that's great, that's not going to work. But it does, and it's so simple. It's so simple, and it's such a powerful practice to do. So you have put together a meditation CD to start to help people. Is it to learn to meditate, or tell me a little bit about your CD?
Okay, I've done a couple of things. The CD is called Magical Night Meditations, and it's 8 short meditations or visualizations.
I'm just going to write that down.
They're there to help you to relax. And it's available on iTunes and Amazon right now. But the thing about it is most meditators want to take 45 minutes to an hour. Mm-hmm. And most people in life are just too busy. They just don't have the time for that. So I've created them between 4 and 7 minutes each. So that you can just take a few moments to kind of sit back and go, oh, I'm sitting in where? What am I doing? I'm on the beach doing what? It's so nice. And people are just really loving that. The other thing that I'm doing is I've started writing my book, which is called Looking for Love in All the Right Places. Mm-hmm. And that's all about finding the love within. And I've now created a video series on that very topic. Mm-hmm. And so that's being published every week as well. But the meditation CD has been powerful for many people. I have a couple of them on there that are really powerful, because one of them is talking about loving yourself and finding that love within you. Mm. And then there are several other guided ones, or, you know, visualization ones on it too.
Beautiful. Yeah. And what I love, like you said, 4 to 7 minutes, anybody can find that. I'm a 45-minute meditator. I do it early in the morning, and I would not give that up for anything. But to get started, when I first got started, I started out with 5 minutes. Then I started out with, you know, 2 times a day at 5 minutes. So, and and it's amazing even what a transformation, that's what we think is a small amount of time to do. It's powerful. It's powerful.
Because once you start meditating, even for that short period of time, you know, people say, I don't have the time to do it. It's amazing what happens. You actually create more time in your day when you're meditating, because your mind becomes clear. Your heart becomes clear, and you just are able to focus in on so much more than you would without the meditation. So I would encourage all of your viewers to get my CD. Yeah. Not only that, but to meditate in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. And and if you hear yourself saying, I don't have time, that's your story. So that's something
that's when you need to make the time.
Yes, be aware of. I think and I'm not sure if I'm accurate on this, but I know it was Dalai Lama. He was being interviewed, and the interviewer asked, you know, when you are so busy, you have this, you know, so many things on your schedule, how do you stay grounded? And he answered, the more things I have on my schedule, the longer I meditate. And it truly is that you just, somehow time just shows up. You know, it's not like you go out and find the time. You just get it done. And it just seems like it just happens. And I believe it does. The universe just kind of conspires to help you when you take time to ground yourself.
Absolutely.
So if somebody's sitting here watching this, one of our viewers is watching this saying, you know what, I need a change. Something needs to change in my life. What is the first step that you would offer them?
I'd like to offer 3. The first would be to learn to love yourself and feel worthy. The second would be to make sure that you're doing self-care. It's amazing how many people don't celebrate themselves after they've achieved something. They really don't. It's an interesting society at the moment, and I'm trying to teach people how to celebrate themselves. And the other thing is to build a team around you, a team of people. Pick people who bring you up, people who give you joy and purpose in your life. Build that dream team, because I've got this saying, what is it now? Teamwork makes the dream work. And your whole life can be a dream if you have the team around you. You don't need to have people that you pay, although that's important too. But just your friends and family, people that lift you up. Yeah. And then, of course, hire a life coach.
Yeah. I was going to say, my dream team has always, I have friends who hold me accountable and business colleagues, and we're involved in a community together that that allows us to have kind of our own dream team in support of our businesses. I've had life coaches are always in my life, as well as, and then there's people that you kind of have to not push out of your life, but set aside, because they might suck some of the energy out of you.
Well, and that's in my book, actually. When they suck the energy out of you, and when they bring negatives into your life, what I've started doing is I remove toxicity from my life. It's not that I don't love those people, I really do. And it's not that I won't listen to them or enjoy them, but I set them aside with kindness and with love, and I wish them everything that's good. Because I need to be who I am and do what I do, and with toxicity around me, it's not that easy to do.
Yes, I talk about that a lot as well. Is when my life kind of fell around, I said, what's toxic in my life? The job was one, so I quit cold turkey. And there were people and beliefs that were toxic to me, and old programming that were toxic. So there's a lot of categories that fall under removing the toxicity from your life. But definitely one of the hardest was people sometimes, friends and family that you have in your life.
And as we evolve, people are naturally going to be drawn to us, and people are naturally going to be moving away from us. Yeah. And we don't need to beat ourselves up around that. We really don't.
Yes. I think my life coach, he once told me, love the people who have fallen away, love them for the time in your life that you had them, and allow that to be okay, and then welcome the new people that are now at your higher vibration level, and welcome them into your life and thank them for the difference that they're making at that time. So where can we find you? Tell us a little bit about your website and your free giveaway that you have there as well.
All right. So my website is called www.imaginelifecoaching.ca. I have a media page where you can see my videos on my book. You can see my blogs. You can buy several things on my store, including my meditation CD, Magical Night Meditations. And I guess just look for what I'm doing. I'm on Facebook at www.facebook.com/imaginelifecoaching, and I'd really love to see you there. I'm on Twitter. And you can find me there. You can actually press all the links on
your website.
On my website to reach me. But I'd love to see any of you on my Facebook page, and I really would love to give away a complimentary coaching session with me. So please book that with me. It's so powerful and it's so life-changing. Yes. I would really love to hear from all of you.
Perfect. And I will have the link is going to be below this video for the Magical Night Meditation, so they can just click on that and go right to that page on your website to be able to purchase that. So one more last minute golden nugget that you want to share with the audience before we close up for today.
Every one of you is created in love. Every one of you is here to love. You need to start with you, and then find your message, and then spread it to the world. Yes. So important.
Yes. Love that. We all have a message to bring. Well, Caterina, this has been a beautiful, beautiful interview, and it has encompassed a lot of the beliefs that I have, and I want to thank you. It just was just a reminder for me, and I think a reminder to our viewers here at the Reinvention Channel on just small, little, subtle steps that they can take to find their love and their worthiness in their life. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Vidette. I had a lot of fun today.
Good. And for all of you out there, I would love for you, if you've gotten anything out of this video and this interview, please share it on Facebook, tweet it out, share it on LinkedIn, Google Plus One it. I would love for you to share the love from this interview so we can help spread the word in the world that we are here to love. Caterina, thank you, and thank you all for being here with us at the Reinvention Channel. We'll see you on the next interview. See you then.